Are we live? Are we live? And we're live. Hey guys, you're watching Tech Radar. This guy dancing next to me is called Gerald.
Sometimes.
Well, Gerald, what do you know nothing about?
I know nothing about the Honor 10.
This is the Honor 10.
It's very blue.
It's a phone.
Or
it's
not.
very blue.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like the dress.
What dress?
The dress.
Oh, it is like, okay, so it changes colour. That's called Phantom Blue.
Phantom blue.
Do you like Phantom blue?
Is it because it's not actually blue?
It's blue and purple, and then blue, and then purple, and then a little bit of white streaking light. What do you think about it?
It's messing with my head.
Okay.
I can't figure out what I'm looking at.
In a good way.
It's good, yeah, I like it. It's kind of looks like a Christmas wrapper.
As an LG or a Whisper wrapper.
Oh, Whisper
As an
wrapper.
LG G6 user,
Yeah.
do you like it? Coming from a G6.
In terms of style,
Yeah.
I'm a man of simple taste.
Okay.
That's all. I like things to be, pretty down the line.
Would you think that costs more or less than your LG G6 does currently now in the market?
Oh, I want to. I don't know.
Do you want me to tell you some of the specs?
Yeah, go on, give me some clues.
Okay, so it has a wide full HD display.
Cool.
It's got a 128 gigabyte storage capacity. Dual SIM slots.
It's winning me over.
Dual camera around the back, 124, 116 megapixel f2 lens. You've also got face detection as an infrared blaster, so it can be a TV remote control as well. You have to touch because it's switched off the screen.
I will.
But it will work. It's got a USB at the bottom, a USB-C, and it has a headphone jack.
And a headphone jack.
So, and inside it's got 4 gig of RAM and a Kirin 970 processor, which is a little bit more powerful than that of the G6.
So from what you're telling me,
Yeah.
I would assume more expensive, but I think you're going to surprise me.
I'm going to surprise you. It is, you see it glimmered, like when it got my face, it switched on. That's how sensitive the face
That's
ID
pretty
is.
mad, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually £399. And right now, the LG G6 retails for £459 at Carphone Warehouse.
Are you telling me I should sell my LG G6?
I'm telling you that after this show, you're going to know a lot more about the Honor 10. But before we get on to the Honor 10, it's time to give you guys in the chat room some shout outs. Before we actually started, the chat room was buzzing. Peter Paul Hendricks is a huge fan of the Honor 10. I asked him what his favorite thing about the phone was, and he says that it's the price and value. Huawei smartly competing with itself, with its Huawei devices and its Honor devices as well.
So what's the strategy there then?
So the strategy there is what Honor is like regarded as more of an online brand.
Okay.
For the early adopters, and they call them the digital natives, all this stuff.
Natives, yeah.
And while the Huawei P20 and P20 Pro, you can get online, but they're going to be targeting the networks a little bit more, be more aggressive with the in-hand. And the P20 and P20 Pro are the more premium offerings. They've got a couple of things that this phone doesn't have. Actually, in many cases, I'd pick the Honor 10 over the P20. The P20 Pro is still the winner for me, but it's almost double the price.
Right, so it's kind of almost like, you could have one for the weekend, right?
Well, if you're rich.
Well, if you're buying a P20 though.
If you're buying a P20, yeah, if you're buying a P20 Pro, you could have an Honor
Yeah.
10 for the weekend and an Honor 10 for the weekend. Though you wouldn't need to because it has dual SIMs and you can get both work and personal SIMs in there.
So I can live my dual life.
You can live your dual life. Right, shout outs time. Zach A asks, how does this thing stack up about the P20, especially with regards to the camera? Camera we will definitely talk about, and I will keep the P20 in mind when I do. Akash Singh says, yo, hey guys. Anas Al Ibrahim says, hey guys, shout out to you. Gal Steinberg says, hey. And Akash says, everything about this phone is excellent. Rishnu Krishan, hey Rishnu, how's the battery? The backup system, SOT, do you mean SoC? What do you mean by SOT? If you mean the Kirin 970 SoC, then we will talk about all that heating performance, and that is all the questions. So
maybe he's on about the soot. How does soot wipe off of it?
Soot.
As in that comes from like a coal fireplace.
Or a chimney.
Oh,
okay,
chimney.
Got it. Well, fortunately, this does not
Wipe
ship
clean?
with soot in the box.
No.
But it does ship with a case and a pre-fitted screen protector. So if it does get sooty,
You're sorted.
You can just sweep it off.
Question answered.
Like
there you go.
See, sweet.
Yeah, very nice.
Anyway, so the design of this is a lot of fun because it's available in Phantom Blue and Phantom Green as well. So immediately it stand out colour-wise.
So Phantom Green, if we're getting blue and kind of purple there, what are you getting?
Green and purple.
Green and purple.
I actually thought the Phantom Green looks really, really nice, but this is maybe a safer bet. This is going to be the primary colour when it retails here in the UK. Like I said, the front, it has a screen which is 5.84 inches, wide full HD, so it's decent resolution, not the sharpest out there, it's an LCD screen, but in terms of the screen quality, by default it's set to vivid mode, and it just means everything looks nuclear, like so saturated and vibrancy through the roof. So if you jump into the settings and dial that down to normal, it looks so much better.
Yeah, so that's kind of like when you get like your new flagship TV, walking around, your
saturation is just like pow pow pow. Yeah, but actually it also misrepresents the photos you take, even it makes them look more artificial, and I think does the phone a disservice. It's got a very nice screen when you play with that, and actually that like pertains to what's inside, because inside you've got Android 8.1, but it has Emotion UI 8.1, and Emotion UI is very customizable. It gives you the options to change the color calibration and stuff that Android might not, but it's also a little bit heavy-handed as well. Okay. So if you like your more stock user interfaces, it might be a little bit heavy for you.
So it kind of gets quite intrusive.
Well, no more than LG's user interface.
Okay.
So if you're okay with LG's user interface,
which I think is actually fairly clean, to be fair. So
then I think you'll be okay with this. It is highly customizable, but you can also simplify it and strip it back if you want to. What's also neat is the fingerprint scanner. Now you see it's kind of under the glass.
Yeah.
You can't actually like feel it.
Yeah.
That's because it's called an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. Now, ultrasonic fingerprint scanners were introduced by Qualcomm in June or July of 2017. And what's great about them is that they let you unlock your phone even if your thumb's wet.
I hate it when my thumb is wet.
Or finger.
And I hate it when my...
Are you being sarcastic?
Finger.
You're being sarcastic. No, this happens all the time for me. Like I'm doing like the dishes, I wash my hands, it's raining, I come to unlock
maybe that's
my
it. Maybe I don't wash
phone.
my hands enough.
I mean, you know, that's all right. It's like if you're grubby, you'll be okay. And if your hands are wet, like you'll be okay too, because it has an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner that also supports gestures. So you see I don't have any buttons at the bottom. The whole screen's taken up by user interface. If I swipe left, it activates multitasking. If I long press, it takes me home, and if I tap it, it goes back a stage. So all of those are in this teeny tiny button in there.
So there's a bit of a learning curve though then, right?
You can, that's not on by default. You can switch it on, and this is what I mean. It's customizable, but once you get the hang of it, you can actually pull a lot more out of the phone potentially. It's perfect for anyone who likes to geek out. So that's sweet, but that isn't everything. There's a lot more to this phone. The camera is really the next big thing I'm going to shout about. And funnily enough, my favorite thing about the camera isn't the pictures it takes. I'll come on to that. First, shout outs. We have a few more in the room. Adele888 says something written in Arabic. I can speak Arabic, but I can't read Arabic. So if you would like to translate that, that would be wonderful. Tech GameX Studio. Hey, Benjamin Mackey. The bearded bloke seems very nice. I am sure he comes from a good family and practices Buddhism.
Which part of that did they get right?
I don't.
You do have a beard?
I do have a beard. I am a bloke. I meditate daily, but I don't actively practice Buddhism.
You do have a good family, though.
I do have a good family. Thanks for that. Very, very
Ben, you nailed it.
In tune observation. So JM Kumbi Wumba says, great show, but we don't get the honor in South Africa, but we have Huawei's. And that brings me on to what's the difference between this and the P20? So the P20 hasn't got a headphone jack. This does. The P20 also is a lot more expensive, so £600, and it's a little bit better looking. The P20. But actually,
I'm going to stop you there. We've briefly lost connection.
Oh, and it was going so well.
It was going well.
Oh, Rafal from Huawei. Hey, Rafal.
It's like, no,
we just lost connection.
Oh, we're back up now.
Oh, are we live? Sorry, guys, we lost connection there. And we're back. We just lost connection, but we're back with the Honor 10. So the P20, comparative to the Honor 10, doesn't have a headphone jack. A little bit more premium in the design. And the camera is where the other big difference is. The P20 and P20 Pro both support that long exposure night shooting, so you can handhold a shot for up to 4 seconds and get the most amazing night shots imaginable, like better than any other smartphone.
Right, so what would you have held up as like maybe the best night shot photo camera before this then?
The Galaxy S9
Yeah.
and S9 Plus with its variable aperture.
So we're already talking like taking that on
Oh yeah,
at a
like
way lower price.
smashed it. Like the P20 Pro in particular smashes the Galaxy S9. But for everything else, this phone is really, really excellent. Where the P20 Pro excels is the shoot, like the image quality is just next level. It has a color temperature reader. The color temperature on this isn't always incredible.
Right.
But what's really, really cool about the Honor 10 is in its gallery. And so if you were to take a picture, you can toggle AI on and off after you've taken the picture.
Okay.
Okay, I saw you just go, blah, blah, blah.
I hear the words AI and I often think that it's just marketing.
It is,
Rubbish.
but it also, like, it's a sexier way of saying this camera makes a lot of decisions for you in a more complex way than other cameras before. So what this camera can do, and the Huawei P20, it was introduced on the Mate 10, which is Huawei's old phone. It can look at a scene, it sees a face, it sees greenery, it sees a sky, it sees a dog and a cat, and it will segment those 5 separate regions, and it has 30 whatever breeds of dog in it.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's that extensive. And then it will optimize each element accordingly.
What if I'm in fancy dress
And as a dog,
as a dog?
then it will, I don't know.
It'll make me look like the best fancy dressed dog of all time.
It may well do that. Like at the launch event of the Mate 10, there was a model dog, and it got the dog.
Okay.
It was an Alsatian, and it got it. So it's super impressive. But what's cool is that until you get the Honor 10, you don't know what this AI is actually doing. It can automatically blur the background out when it detects a face. So it auto goes into portrait mode, saving you having to do that. Fine. But when you toggle it on and off once you've taken the picture, you see that it actually pulls some of the detail from the darker areas, HDRing the dark areas. But then with the sky, it ups the saturation in the sky, but it hasn't upped the saturation in other areas where the saturation doesn't need to be upped. So rather than just blanket correct your whole picture and make it look like a bit of a dog's dinner in areas, it's really smart.
So are you talking about like more of a kind of a vivid shot or more lifelike natural shot?
This is the thing. If you want a more lifelike natural shot, you can toggle AI off.
Right.
After you've taken your picture, whereas the P20 and P20 Pro you have to make that decision before you take your shot.
Okay.
So that actually is my favorite thing about the camera on this phone. When it comes to the sheer image quality, the pictures look great in good light, like really good. Gets loads of detail in. It'll even reframe your shot. So if I'm taking a picture of you, portrait picture, then it will, like, rather than have you like off center kind of skewed, it will reframe the whole shot without me having to move.
Okay.
Blur out the background, keep the foreground sharp.
Do you worry that kind of like these kind of like AI advancements in like photography and stuff will end up kind of eventually making everyone's photos look the same, right?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, you can get to a point where maybe I want it to be a little off center.
And if you do, you can activate more manual modes. You can completely turn off the master AI, it's called, which is kind of a terrifying way of putting it. It's a little bit Skynet, but yeah, you can. But you're right, like you are right. It's helping people along who want decisions made for them.
Yeah.
But if you are a semi-professional photographer or just an enthusiast, you can fire up pro mode, change the shutter speed, everything like that. So in terms of the design, it's great. The camera's great, but it does struggle in low light by comparison to the P20 and P20 Pro, like I said. And the video stabilization is really good. Electric image stabilization holds everything nice and steady. I did like a couple of videos earlier, and it like beats like other phones that don't have electrical image stabilization, like the OnePlus 5, for example, and 5T, which are notoriously quite juddery. So yeah, Huawei seems to be like doing the right things, and they've differentiating the P20 and this in a couple of ways.
They're having a good year then, right?
Having a good year. Huawei and Honor both, because like I guess what Honor regards itself as a different brand, so we probably should too in this. Have some more shout outs. How about the OnePlus 6, says Jimit Rupani? The OnePlus 6 is expected to be announced later today. We will be there, so stay tuned to Tech Radar. Like I said, shout out to Rafal. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Zach A, how is it slightly better looking than the P20? Well, it's going to be very subjective, which you think is the better looking of the two devices. The P20 is like more elegant. It's like in the hand even feels a bit more elegant, how the glass melds into the like metal frame. The pearlescent color, which is my favorite, just looks really sweet. This is more like pow pow zing zing, which is nice as well. Sure. But it's going to come down to individual preference there. What do you think of the speakers on the Honor 10? That's from Ryan Barkley. The speaker is a mono bottom firing speaker, and it is easy to cover up when gaming, exactly like the P20, which is a shame because the P20 Pro has a stereo speaker. So in that respect, if you've seen my P20 review, you'll know exactly what I think of this phone as well. Nice and loud, but too easy to cover up. So we have Peter says, in manual mode, one can do 4-second night exposure on P20. So that says Peter Paul Hendricks. You can, in manual mode on this, get this on a tripod and take really long exposures. Sure. The difference is with the P20 and P20 Pro, the night mode allows you to hand hold it for up to 4 seconds, and it composites the pictures to get rid of all ghosting and blur. It's really, really smart how it does it. So you can do manual mode on this, and you can activate a night mode, but it just won't support the same kind of handheld quality. You need a little bit more gear to get the same effects. How about water resistance? Nope, no water resistance here.
That's maybe kind of a cost-cutting measure then, right?
It is. It absolutely is. Because if you're going to secure specifically a phone with a headphone jack, then you're going to be spending a lot more money on it.
And they talk about thermals as well, when insulation, things like getting very hot very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And heat management, someone asked, is really, really decent on here. But I don't think the P20 is water resistant. The P20 Pro is. So again, the very similar device with a very similar user interface that costs a bit more money isn't. And the OnePlus 5 and 5T weren't water resistant. There have been leaks suggesting that the OnePlus 6 might be, but we don't know if it is or isn't. We don't know how much it's going to cost as well. This is 399 quid.
The LG G6.
Your LG G6 is.
That was water resistant?
It was, but it launched at 250 quid more. Wait, no, 250 quid more than this.
Considering I never have wet fingers either.
Exactly. You're not getting your phones wet anytime soon. So we've got a few more questions, but Zach A says, pow pow zing zing, I'm sold. Clearly liking the colour on this.
I read that as pow pow zing zing, I'm so old.
Yeah, we are so old, but most of you guys look like spring chickens and are exactly the kind of target market Honor seems to be going with this phone. You've also got a supercharged charger in the box, which charges it up very nice and quickly. Battery performance is good. It will get you through a full day without too much problem. If you're a really heavy user, you might need a top up halfway through the day, but we ran our battery tests earlier today and it performed really respectably when compared to today's other flagships through to mid-rangers. The fact you're paying £399 for a phone with 128 gigabytes of storage in isolation is excellent. You're also getting a good looking phone with a really smart camera system and plenty of power under the hood as well. Just tops it off nicely. As far as connections go, like I said, you've got an infrared blaster at the top, so it's a TV remote control.
Nice. I haven't seen one of them since HTC.
Yeah, HTC, the One M7 with the one at the top. Well, it actually does it in like most of their top tier phones. Like the P20 Pro has one, but the P20 doesn't. But Honor phones actually, like this one has it.
I use it quite a lot. It's a nice feature.
I use it all the time. I have a really old Finlux TV, and you can't get the remote control for it anywhere. And actually, this works a treat. It's all in there. They've got software that will get you going. It's called Smart Controller. So yeah, generally speaking, this is a really solid phone. Gonna have a quick gander for any final comments. Well done for Honor for launching a great device. Yep, everyone here seems to be on board with what we're saying, and if you want to see some more close-up beauty shots of this, check out our hands-on video. We'll be posting a 48-hour review again with even more in-depth beauty shots, some gaming shots, etc. in the next 48 hours, and our full review will come in the next couple of weeks. You can also read up a lot more about this on techradar.com, but that's it. Have you got any more questions?
No, I'm just trying to figure out whether it's blue or purple still.
It's Phantom Blue.
Phantom Blue.
Phantom Blue.
Phantom Blue.
And on that note, hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Thumbs up, comment, like, and head over to techradar.com, where you can read a lot of Gerald's words. Gerald writes a lot. He even has a book, published author. And you can see a lot
Thank
more.
you, Basil. Little plug there.
You can see a lot more of my videos. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye guys.